Hello everyone. Today let's discuss the biography of the famous English essayist, Sir Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon, 1561-1626. Francis Bacon was an English philosopher, statesman, scientist, and essayist. Bacon lived during the reigns of Queen Elizabeth, King James I, King Charles I. At the beginning of the reign of King Charles I, in 1626, Bacon passed away. Bacon is known as the father of empiricism. Empiricism means believing only in evidence-based knowledge. He is also known as the father of English essays. Bacon used the aphoristic style of writing. Aphoristic style is a concise and impactful way of writing that expresses deep truths or observations in a brief, memorable manner. It is characterized by short, witty, and thought-provoking sentences that often contain wisdom, moral lessons, or practical advice. Bacon is famous for his aphoristic style in his essays, where he conveys complex ideas in a few words with a clarity and precision. For example, in Off Studies, he writes, "Reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, and a writing an exact man," which effectively summarizes the benefits of education or reading. Bacon championed inductive reasoning and laid the groundwork for modern scientific inquiry. His literary contributions, particularly his essays, continue to be studied for their profound insights into human nature, morality, and governance. Bacon was born in 1561 in London into a prominent and well-connected family. His father, Sir Nicholas Bacon, was Lord Keeper of the Great Seal under Queen Elizabeth I, and his mother, Anne Coke Bacon, was a highly educated woman, fluent in multiple languages. From an early age, Bacon displayed exceptional intellectual abilities. He was educated at Trinity College, Cambridge, from 1573 and 76 at the age of 12, where he studied philosophy, rhetoric, and the classics. However, he became disillusioned with the Aristotelian logic, which dominated education at that time, believing it to be impractical and outdated. After completing his studies at Cambridge, Bacon enrolled at Gray's Inn in 1576 to study law, following in his father's footsteps. During this time, he also traveled to France as part of the English diplomatic mission. However, his father's sudden death in 1579 forced him to return to England and take up a legal career to support himself. Bacon's political ambitions led him to pursue a career in public service. His sharp intellect and oratory skills earned him a seat in Parliament in 1584, representing Malcolm Regis. Over the years, he continued to rise in prominence. In 1607, Bacon was appointed Solicitor General. In 1613, he became Attorney General. In 1618, he was promoted to Lord Chancellor, the highest legal position in England. In 1618, he was knighted as First Viscount St. Albans. Despite his impressive rise, Bacon's career ended in disgrace. In 1621, he was accused of accepting bribes as Lord Chancellor. Although he admitted to negligence, he maintained that he had never let corruption influence his judgments. He was fined, imprisoned briefly, and barred from holding public office. Following his fall from grace, Francis Bacon dedicated the rest of his life to writing and scientific exploration. Francis Bacon's major contributions. Francis Bacon's most significant intellectual contribution was his development of the scientific method based on empirical observation and inductive reasoning. This was a departure from the dominant Aristotelian deductive approach, which relied heavily on established doctrines rather than experimentation. His key scientific contributions include inductive reasoning, Baconian method, empiricism. First one, inductive reasoning. Bacon argued that knowledge should be derived from scientific observations that led to diverse conclusions rather than relying on preconceived theories. Baconian method. He introduced systematic observation, experimentation, and data collection as the foundation for scientific inquiry. This is called the Baconian method. Empiricism. He advocated for direct experience and evidence-based knowledge, rejecting reliance on tradition and authority. These ideas greatly influenced the later scientists, including Isaac Newton, Robert Boyle, and the development of Royal Society in England. Literary contributions. Francis Bacon was also a distinguished writer and essayist known for his concise aphoristic style and profound insights into human behavior. His essays, first published in 1597, were expanded in 1612 and 1625. He wrote on a wide range of topics including politics, morality, friendship, and ambition. Key features of Bacon's essays: concise and aphoristic, practical wisdom, human nature and morality. First one, concise and aphoristic. Bacon's essays are rich in wisdom, filled with short, memorable statements. Example, knowledge is power. Then practical wisdom. Unlike purely philosophical musings, Bacon's essays provide pragmatic advice for leadership, ethics, and personal development. Human nature and morality. Bacon explored themes such as truth, power, wealth, and personal conduct, offering a deep understanding of human psychology. Notable essays written by Francis Bacon and their themes. Of truth. Examines the nature of truth and the human tendency towards falsehood. Of studies, discusses the benefits of reading, learning, and intellectual growth. Of friendship, explores the value of true friendship in personal and political life. Of ambition, warns about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Of revenge, advises against seeking vengeance, advocating for justice instead. Political and legal contributions. Bacon's political and legal thought emphasized their governance based on reason, justice, and empirical evidence. He advocated for legal reforms, proposed that laws should be simplified and made more accessible to common people. And he advocated for separation of science and religion, believed that scientific inquiry should be free from religious dogma. And he advocated for utilitarian governance, favored policies that ensured the greatest good for the greatest number. Major works of Francis Bacon. Essays, published 3 times, 1597, 10 essays, 1612, 38 essays, 1625, 58 essays. These are a collection of essays on philosophy, morality, and human nature. Then Advancement of Learning, 1605, advocated for scientific inquiry and a reform in education. The Novum Organum, 1620, introduced the Baconian method or scientific method. The New Atlantis, 1626, a utopian vision of scientific society focused on discovery and innovation. Key themes in Francis Bacon's works: truth versus falsehood, power of knowledge, morality and ethics, scientific progress. Truth versus falsehood. He emphasized the pursuit of truth through empirical observation rather than blind belief. Power of knowledge. He promoted education and intellectual inquiry as the key to personal and societal advancement. Morality and ethics. He examined the complexities of human nature, ethics, and ambition. Scientific progress. He advocated for experimentation and observation to advance knowledge and improve human life. Influence of Francis Bacon. Bacon's ideas laid the foundation for the scientific revolution and later influenced the thinkers such as René Descartes, his rationalism and doubt, then Isaac Newton, empirical science and physics, then John Locke, empiricism and political philosophy. Bacon's emphasis on inductive reasoning directly contributed to the development of modern science and the creation of institutions like the Royal Society of London. Bacon's death. In 1626, while conducting an experiment on the preservation of meat using snow, Bacon caught a pneumonia and died on April 9, 1626 in Highgate, England. His dedication to empirical research ultimately led to his demise, making him a martyr for scientific inquiry.